one that I'll start off with is just first thanking you for participating and sharing your thoughts about
Yeah,
this.
no
Um,
problem.
and then the first one, Klaus, is just how are you doing in general?
Good, comparatively. Well, we have 3 kids, and keeping everything going with them is a little bit of a challenge since they have nothing going on yet. Pittsburgh Public Schools started remote instruction today for the older kids, and my kids' turn will be sometime next week. So I basically had to finish the semester with them, whatever they do. And even if you get them occupied, it does interfere, even in the smallest things. Like my class was from noon to 2:30, and the schedule we had set up for the kids was that they could do screen time at 1 p.m. And you could tell in my connection on Zoom that whatever happens downstairs was happening. Like video game consoles went online. I got the little message, your internet connection is unstable. So, even down to that, it's just struggling to make that all work somehow. But doing well, considering that I'm struggling, I'm doing very well.
Right. Have you felt that things that usually take only a couple minutes are taking much longer time periods?
Yeah, definitely.
As well.
But I mean,
felt
also
the
that
same.
I just really like my desk at work and sitting there and laying stuff out. And I don't really have a desk here at home. That's my fault. I have this little standing desk here that my laptop is on. So I just don't work as fast on that anyway. I know that. But then also you have the interruptions during the day.
Right. Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about the class that you were finishing up this semester?
It's an infancy class in developmental psychology, and it's a graduate level seminar. I had 15 students, 13 of which were officially enrolled and 2 were auditing it. And most of them were graduate students. Psychology, I had somebody from education, somebody from public policy, and I also had a few undergrad students, high-level undergrad students, who were interested in taking the class. So it was a very diverse group in terms of their backgrounds and interests. And it was a heavily discussion-focused class. So every week, 2 students would lead discussion on the readings that we had assigned. And I would do a very short intro spiel, which never really gave the topic enough justice, but it was not the point. It was not like an undergraduate class where I just tell them this is what it is. It was more like you work through the recent findings and identify the problems and discuss the issues on your own. And I'm more there to facilitate, which I think is not the ideal class to move online.
Right. So what successes have you had moving online, especially in this discussion type form?
Yeah, I was very impressed with how the students handled it. They continued leading their discussion. I mean, I took their slides, which I guess I didn't need to. I think Zoom would have had, they would have been fine with me just allowing them to share their screen and use their slides. But I took their slides and they just told me to move on to the next. And they led the discussion. I think we had more participation than in class, since some people could, it was easier for them to see what other people are doing because they have this nice view of everybody's face, right? Instead of somebody might be hiding behind their laptop in class like they do these days. So I think that actually helped them. And I also thought that people might have been more willing to share thoughts now that they are sitting at home and they don't feel like somebody's breathing over their shoulder or judging them for what they are saying, which helps in a discussion-based class if you can sort of let go of your inhibitions.
Mm-hmm. Does your class use not only face-to-face in Zoom, but as well like the chat function? I'm just curious.
No, we didn't use the chat function. So what I did is my little spiel that I always did, I pre-recorded that and I sent it to them via Panopto and told them do that 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then afterwards we met as a class and we just went straight into the discussion. So I think another success was that it made us more efficient in that sense, because I could do that preparation whenever I felt like it. I could do it Sunday night if I felt like it. And they could watch it also whenever I made it available. So they didn't need to watch that during during the assigned class time. And then during the class time, we went straight for the discussion, and we usually finished early because of that, which was also right since they watched the video beforehand. So it was more efficient. They didn't have to focus the entire time on my introduction for the background and then the discussion and then participate. So it was a little more broken up, which was good. It was a class that was noon to 2:30. So that's a long class anyway. So I think that helped that in particular.
Online.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And then my last main question is just kind of, what are you doing to self-care? And then since you have a graduate class and a mixture of students, have you heard anything that they do self-care that's been helpful for them as well?
That's a good question. So what we do for self-care, we maintain a regular schedule. So we have this happens then, this happens now, and then we go outside every day for like a recess kind of thing. And I have a child coming. I'll be down with you in a second, okay? Right here. I'll be down in a second. Hi. Yeah, exactly like that.
But keeping that structure is pretty important, especially with a family.
That keeps you sane, right? Because you know what's happening. It's not like every day is the same. You don't know how to deal with stuff. Every day is, you do your math work there and I do my office work there. And then we meet and we go outside and we enjoy a little bit of the sun as much as we can. So that's how we try to keep sane. The students, honestly, I don't think we discussed this during class. I mostly ask them if anybody has any concerns or troubles that they want to talk about. And that might have been helpful for them because there's a lot of stuff going around that they worry about. So for example, my last class meeting was on Tuesday, and some people had heard through the grapevine that Boston University was saying maybe the fall will be delayed into the spring. So they were worried about that same stuff happening at Pitt. And so we talk about it. He's like, I haven't heard anything about that. Online instruction seems to be going well. So even if campus wouldn't open, I'm still sure we will do classes. We'll still continue. And I think for them, it's challenging because they want to finish. They are on their track, right? So for me as a faculty, it's easier because I don't finish. That said, I'm on a tenure track. So there is something I'm working towards, but it's not the same as for the students who think like I have this 3-year, 4-year, 5-year clock that I want to be on. And if this now falls through, it's going to mess up my schedule, which is with costs for the undergrads, of course. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. As a grad student myself, I feel like that time crunch and motivated even a little bit more to finish up, but definitely have a schedule, like you saying, keeping the structure. This is when I wake up, I get to my laptop, I work, take a walk outside with my dog.
We still get up the same time as if we went into the office, because if you break that, it's just not it's not vacation. It's just different work.
Right. Well, it sounds like you have good successes in your class, and I thank you for sharing them today.